the Digital Babble with your host, Flipper. Colorful commentary on your photography. Seen on fingerlegs1.com.
Hey everybody, it's me, Flipper, here on the Digital Babble, broadcasting live from upstate New York, broadcasting live on fingerlegs1.tv. If you want to give us a shout out, you can give us an email at thedigitalbabble@gmail.com. You can send in your pictures for review. And that's exactly what this show is going to be all about tonight. Is I've got a bunch of different pictures I'm going to review. Pictures that people have sent in. I have a couple questions that I'm going to review. I have to go get it off the printer though because I forgot it over on the printer. So it should be interesting to watch me run over there and grab it real quick. But this is a show about photography, Photoshop, how to get better photos, different techniques. Last week's show was all about portraits. Next week's show is going to be all about, I think, half-length portraits or three-quarter portraits. So make sure to tune into that show. But this show is really going to be a lot about different photos and what I like, what I don't like. And then I got a couple that I can take right into Photoshop. And then I got a special treat. While I'm doing the review, I'm going to try to use the green screen so I can point different things out instead of using the whiteboard, because I've been dying to try something with the green screen. So here we are tonight trying it out. So again, the Digital Babble, all about photography. If you want to go check out our website and check out the posts and the previous shows, any content that we create, you can go check out our website at tdbny.com and get on there, make comments. I think you can make comments. If you can't, email me, thedigitalbabble@gmail.com, and join the conversation. If you got show ideas, if you want to learn about a particular thing, if you got an example of a photo that you're trying to recreate, you want to know how to shoot weddings, you want to know how to shoot pretty good portraits, you want to know about lighting, just ask the questions and I'll be sure to answer them for you. So getting to the question, hang on. Let me grab the question. I forgot it was on the printer and I didn't quite grab it. So this first question comes from a listener that recently bought an SLR. And the first question, with all the functions that SLRs are good at, is there a lens that is better for video function versus still function? Really, what they've done with the SLRs that do take video is they've just enhanced they've taken the still lens and enhanced it so that the video can be played through it. Really, there's not too much of a difference between the SLR lenses, and the video lenses that you can buy for video application, except for a few very technical, very specific things that would change, such as a focus resolution. So like saying if you're focusing your front to back, focusing your depth of field might be a little different on a Canon lens that was made specifically for video. Do they provide them for SLRs? Absolutely. Some of them have mounts, some of them don't, and you got to buy an adapter. But really, by the end of the day, I don't think the consumer grade SLRs or consumers using SLRs to shoot video are going to see that much of a difference really in quality for their application by getting a more expensive, $2,200 video lens. I do prefer, though, I will say, if you're looking between a zoom lens and a prime lens will give you a lot better video quality than a zoom lens. And here's why: because it's the same principle as shooting stills. Shooting stills will give you a weird sense with the zoom range. You'll get sweet spots as you go through the zoom range. So like saying at the very furthest range, you might have a little bit of a soft focus to it. And it's really weird because you'll see it in some pictures and it'll be really pronounced. And then other pictures, not so much, depending on the contrast in the scene. But as you move through your zoom range and you go front to back, so like 35 millimeter to 200 millimeter, you'll find a couple of different sweet spots that are really like, wow, this is really tack sharp. It looks good. It's really, the resolution is high. It looks great, so on and so forth. And I think what the thing is the lenses, the zoom lenses use a bunch of elements to actually create the zoom effect. So when they move through their planes, you're going to get a different sweet spot at different points where everything just aligns and it's just like tack on. You can usually get a little bit better zooms, like saying the L series and the Canon series, the zoom lenses that are the L series. Sometimes you'll get like a 24 to 70 or a 70 to 200 that gives you a lot bigger sweet spot, like in the 70 to 200, because I know that one. I know that from about 80 millimeter to about 160 millimeter, there's two really good sweet spots. I'm not sure exactly what the millimeter is, but as I zoom through the range and refocus, I can get some really amazingly tack sharp photos that I'm just like, oh, I never would have gotten that before. So, you know, if you got a zoom lens and you're looking for tack sharpness and you're looking for good quality for video, you're going to have to go find those sweet spots, and that's what you want to do, is shoot in those sweet spots. Now, to eliminate sweet spots, you go with a prime lens. Prime lens is one focus. So, like, you can buy a 50 millimeter 1.6, I think. Yeah, probably 1.6 f-stop. So f1.6 for probably a couple $100. And just shooting with a prime lens and shooting video with that, you can get a really awesome tack sharp video from that lens. So the question comes down to, and let me answer the question as clear as mud as I can make it. Is there video lenses out there? Yes. Are they really expensive? Yes. Are they better than still photography lenses? Yes, for video, but usually they attach to video cameras, professional grade video cameras. Sometimes you can find one cheap that you can go buy and, you know, put it on your SLR. But the better function here, or the better way to do this, would be to use a prime lens and then use that so you don't have any zoom. You don't have moving elements in that respect. So you focus it. Once you get it tack sharp, you should be good. Put it on tripod, shoot video. If you're running along with something and you're shooting video, it should still be pretty tack sharp just as long as you keep refocusing. So prime lenses, great for video. Get a couple. I mean, I like 28 millimeter. I like 50 millimeter. I've seen a lot of people shoot with 100 millimeter too. Like people that are shooting races or videotaping the races might go 100 millimeter. I think it's an f2.8 or an f3 or 4, f3.6. Yeah, f3.6 or an f4 at 100 millimeter. And they get some really amazing, I mean, they look just as good as like high definition cable TV coverage of the race. So I have seen where, you know, prime lenses really do a good job of capturing video. So question 2 from my good friend Frank here, who sent me these questions. All the manuals say don't do it, but I gotta ask, pictures of sunrises, sunsets, sun, how is it done without ruining your camera? The thing is it's not necessarily going to ruin your camera. Okay, the question comes down to, first off, you want to make sure you have a haze filter on. Second off, get a polarizer. If you get a polarizer on the front of that lens, that way you can polarize the light coming from the sun. It'll cut the intensity, first off. I think the bigger problem here is a health hazard. I don't think they're so worried about the camera burning up, per se. You know, it could, potentially, but I really think what the problem here is that they don't want you looking through the lens with the sun focusing its intensity through the lens, hitting the mirror, going through the pentaprism, and then into your eye. And I think that's why they tell you shouldn't do that. And it's really a good idea not to do that. But, I mean, if you're taking a really broad, wide-angle shot, you probably won't have any problems. Because the sun's just a little dot out on the horizon, you know, and the sunset would be kind of part of the horizon. So I think that, you know, with the wider angle lens, you probably won't have too much of a problem, but I wouldn't tell you to stare into the camera while staring into the sun. It would just make no sense. But you can also use like a shadow box. You can make a shadow box out of a little cardboard. It's a little box, and you put it on the back of your camera where the viewfinder is, with a white background at a 45-degree angle, and then you can look down into the box and you cover it with a cloth so it's dark so you can really see the image so you can focus it if you're trying to get a specific picture of the sun. Can you ruin your equipment? Yes. If you leave it zoomed in on the sun for a long period of time, it's going to heat up the inside of the camera. It's going to ruin the UV filter. It's going to ruin the sensor. It's going to ruin the camera in general. So that's definitely a good tip not to do. But, you know, if you're trying to get a sunset, it's not a problem to try to get a sunset. And the intensity of the sun at sunrise and sunset is at a totally different angle. It's going through a lot more atmosphere before it gets to you, whereas if you're aiming straight up at noonday sun, you're going to fry like an ant. So that would be what I think is why they say don't do it. It's not so much necessarily you're going to ruin the camera. I think it's more the thought that you're going to ruin your eyes. You know, even a short burst of high intensity focused light, like, you know, it's like using a magnifying glass on ants. Really, it's just not something smart to do. But like I said, you can make a shadow box, or you can wait till the sunset, sunrise. As long as you don't wait till it's like way up in the sky where you're getting a lot of intense heat, intense light coming through the lens, focusing itself onto the mirror, into the pentaprism, and then into your eye. I mean, it's the original laser eye surgery right there, okay? That's all I can say about that. So, and thank you for the compliment. Nice show. Thank you. From last week's show, I think, or the week before. So, thanks, Frank. So, getting on to reviewing some photos here. Several people sent in photos. Paula, Scott, they're okay with using the first name, so thank you for sending some in. So what I'm going to try to do here is we're going to try to use the green screen to point out what I feel is good and bad about the different photos. So bear with me here. So we load the next scene, and here's our first photo up. I'm going to go get on the other mic and get my hands. All you're going to see is probably my head and my hands because I got the green screen kind of screwy right this second. So let's slide over here. Get ready to rumble. Oh, there's my arm. Hey, look. So it does work. So this is a great picture here. I really like this. The whole shot is very nice where there's movement and everything. I believe this is Scott's picture. It's a really nice picture, really, by the end of the day. And if you look here, you got lines, you know, coming from the shoulder down over to this shoulder. You got the eyes always at a line. Everything in this picture is tilted in some way, shape, or form. So it really does give you a really nice effect that, you know, very fluid, feminine look. I don't like how dark it is. There's no separation from the background. So if you look up here, very hard to see any type of difference between the background and where her hair starts. It's very, very, very light. I do really like the way the light's set up. It's very set up much like a 3/4 shot. So the light's kind of sitting right about here, flashing straight at her, just slightly above the subject's neckline and shoulder line. I like the outfit. I think it really shows off, one, her body. You know, she definitely is fit. And two, I believe that one of the biggest things that really is nice about this is that all the skin tones, if you look here, is all tapered, so everything has a nice smooth appear to it instead of being harsh or harsh lines. The only harsh line I really see is right here in the neckline, but that's a given, that just from the pose and the way it looks. I do really think the jewelry in this shot really sets this off. I like the jewelry here, the earring. I also like the necklace going down through here. I also like the ring over on this finger. So overall, I like the shot. The shot is really decent from a standpoint. It looks like almost a professional shot. I think it probably, well, I think Scott is semi-pro. I really liked where the light's positioned. It lights up both eyes. It really minimizes the shadows. I really think it really makes the subject pop. The only, like I said, the biggest thing I think I can say I don't like about it is the separation from the background. It's a single light shot. It looks like it doesn't look like it's a multi-light shot. Maybe getting a little bit of light on the background or a little bit of hair light. So a hair light, saying if you took a hair light here, aimed it. Let's see if I get my fingers right here. So put a hair light behind her, way behind her, and then aimed it at her hair. So just the edge of her hair right here would light up. So there was some more separation between the background and the foreground. I think that would have been perfect. So Let's try the next one. Reminds me of Oscar Cat, even though it's not Oscar Cat. I believe this is Paula's cat. So I love how close she got. This is pretty neat. I really like this. Very close. You know, I mean, you got the camera right in the cat's face, and it's like poof. You know, so I really think this is a great shot. The only thing I think that's missing is the light from the shot is very dim. You can see the white is not really white. It's kind of gray. The lightest point, it looks like it's the on-camera flash, and I'm surprised you didn't get any red eye in this, or evil cat eye. You can see the flash firing right here, the little dots in the eyes, but I really think it's not balanced well. The background's nice. I like the background. It's kind of like this whole laser kind of, you know, shot going from up here down. I can't do this green screen very well. It's backwards. So kind of the background's kind of nice. I think the one thing down here is distracting. I think just a touch of photoshopping might make this work a little bit better. Lighten up the whites, maybe a little more contrast. I also think that one of the big things too is you know, you could see that there's a good separation between the background and the cat. But I think one of the things that I feel like I'm missing here is the cat's eyes aren't really giving you any angle. You're not, you know, you got a little bit of angle here, you know, so there's this angle, whoops, whatever, you see what I mean. So this angle, but I think one of the big things here is that the fact that there's angle there's angle in the background, it's all the same angle, so you kind of feel like you're falling off the picture over near my hand here. I think the other thing is the fact that I just feel like we cut the cat's ears off, and if we were going to cut them off, I think I would have wanted it a little bit tighter. I think I would have wanted to make the crop right about here, you know, so you just catch just ever so slightly the background, and then, you know, come up through and cut the ear off here, and then cut across the head here a little bit, and make it a little tighter composition. Or back it up a little bit and grab all the ear. I think I just feel like this one, I feel like the cat is maimed, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I think it could be a little better, but really by the end of the day, it's a very cute pet portrait. I think it's kind of neat. It's like, oh, you're looking up at me and snapping a picture, you know, and it kind of gives you a personality of the cat. It really does. It's like, yo, what's up? Almost calm and cool, you know, cool cat. So I kind of like it. But like I said, I think the lighting needs work. I like the background. I do like the background. I like this whole zing kind of laser thing going this way. But really, I think the crop needs to be a little tighter. You know, cut the more of the face and the ear off, so it's tighter crop. It would get rid of this thing down here. But at the same time, I think that the light needs to be a little better. But really, I like it because there's personality. There's just a lot of personality to this photo. It's like, yo, dog, what's up? I'm going to beat you up, Mr. Bulldog. I can see it. I love this shot. I don't care who you are. I love this shot. I don't know what kind of flower it is, if it's a real flower or if... Paula's big on Photoshop, so she can usually manipulate things very nicely. I've seen some of her work and pretty amazing stuff. I'm not sure, but it's so photo real. I'm having a hard time guessing which way it is. I've never seen a plant like this, to be perfectly honest. So I could be just lacking in knowledge or experience on this. I really love a lot of things in this photo. I love the reds. The reds in here are nice. They're saturated nice, but they're pastel. They're just kind of soft and gentle. This whole thing is just soft and gentle. The green coming out to the purple over here and coming back into the green and these purplish streaks, you know, going down into the photo, you know, over here with the, you know, going into the darkness. The shadows aren't too harsh, you know. I really think this is something I would hang up on my wall, I think. I mean, I really like it. It's just fascinating to look at. I think the composition's good. I think the sharpness is good. I think that the only thing I might have changed just a touch is if there's a couple more petals down here, down in this area, or maybe over here, maybe to move the head of the flower over this way a little bit more, and then down just a touch, so we can get a little bit more of the background up there, and see if there's more petals down here. And then put it in one of the thirds. So the head would actually sit right about here in one of the thirds, you know, a roll of thirds. So I think that would work. That's kind of neat. I like the picture. I would I would definitely print this and hang this up. I would probably do I don't know, 11 by 14, 2-inch white mat with a I would probably go with a pastel green if they had it for a second mat, just to give it a little bit of an outline, you know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch outline right near the photo. And then I would frame that and hang that up. That's really pretty. I like it. I think I've looked at this photo 20 times since she sent it to me. Very nice photo. How are we doing on time? We're at 7:21. Look at that. This is a picture from Scott. Scott sent this picture in, and it was Mr. Monkey Crazy Eyes. I love the crazy eyes. It's like, dude, man, I'll eat you. I think it's kind of a neat picture. It looks like it's from the Syracuse zoo over there. I can't think of the name. It's Gifford Rossman or whatever the zoo name is. It's a really neat zoo. I think they do a great job over there. I think they do a little bit better job than the Rochester Zoo. Always seems to be a lot cleaner whenever I go. I think it's this one's in one of the this is indoors, I believe. This whole shot was indoors, and you could see how the flash fired, because you can see he's got a little bit of the demon eye thing. So a little bit entered, hit the retina, came back out of the camera, gave you a little bit of red eye. I don't care for the direct straight on. I mean, the monkey, the subject, is dead in the middle here. It's almost like we're shooting a gun. It's like right there, got him. You know, I think that's okay, but I really think that maybe moving the monkey down a little bit to give him something to look at. So move the monkey down here. Whoops, I gotta figure out how to do this green. It's all backwards. So move the monkey down here, probably down here. Put the bottom of the branch, that bottom corner of the branch way over here. Hit down here, slide the whole monkey down, and make him look to the ceiling. So, and then give him something, even if it's empty space up here, give him something to look at. Right now, it's like you follow his eyes, and it like stops. It's like, okay, you're following your eyes up, and you're going, oh, it's done. So I think that's a good shot. I just think it needs, you know, maybe a little different, just composition maybe. A little Photoshop would help. I think maybe lightening just the greens in the background might give it a little context that there's some foliage in the background. I can't get over the feet. The feet right here just amaze me. I love this feet pattern. It's like something out of one of those riddle puzzle things where you have too many hands. It looks like he's got too many hands and feet in the picture, or not enough, one of the two, and it's kind of kooky weird, kind of fascinating. You know, I looked at it once, I'm like, how many feet do that thing got? I don't know. But I like I said, I think the biggest thing is context. Rule of thirds, bring him down to the third, have him looking up to the top third, which might be empty space. So up here, maybe there's just nothing but empty space. So I think that's a good shot, but maybe, like I said, a little bit of little changes. Little changes, not much. I think it's a good shot. Let's see, we're off the monkey, and this is from, I think the next series of shots are from the hill climb. So this is Scott's pictures of the hill climb. I don't know who these three blokes are, but I love their haircuts. I really love this guy over here. He's funny. I like the shaggy, well, all of them got the whole mohawk look. They look like they're ready to climb this hill on the motorbikes. You know, they're ready to go. I think two simple things. One is where the picture actually kind of comes out. So you got this guy right here, who's right dead center, which I like. But this guy needs to be over a touch, or zoom out a touch and grab a little bit more of the picture. I think he feels like he's falling off the page over here. And this guy feels like he's half off the page, like he really should be closer. Now, of course, this is probably a candid shot, so I'm not going to argue too much with it because it's a really good capture. Everybody's nice and sharp. He's sharp. He's sharp. He's a little soft up in the face over here. Whoops, way out here. He's a little soft over here in the face, but I would probably say that's not too bad considering the depth of field. Going from front to back, or front to back. But all in all, I think it's a good shot. I maybe zoom it out a little bit. I like the expressions. They're determined. They're ready to go. It really tells kind of the story. Let's do this. Let's do this, man. Do it, do it, do it. Here's one of my shots. This is my niece or family member. I don't know how. Miss Kayla. She's amazing. She always lets me photograph her and use her photos. This was a portrait session I did a few years ago for a theater production of The Wiz, and Miss Kayla here, very beautiful young lady. I really like the separation, and this is what I was talking about. That one shot earlier was the separation between the background and the subject. As you can see here, whoops, right here. So if you follow the hairline around, you can see I got a hair light out here, and it separates her all the way around the photo on both sides from the background. Nothing kind of fades out to black, and then the background's black. That was the intent, but she pops off the page. I mean, she really, I'm here. This is me. I'm live. I really love how the eyes came out black and white. I think she has kind of a hazel eye anyway, but just the way the light hit it, it's a 3/4. The light's actually right about here, so the flash goes whack. You can see that there's some nice tones going across, then it falls into shadow, but it's not black shadow, it's a soft shadow. I think this is a good shot for what it was. It was a theater production. I liked what I did in Photoshop. I know I'm critiquing my own thing, and I'm actually liking it for a change. Which is really weird because I really don't usually like my own work. I usually critique it hard, but this one, this has been 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, however long it's been since I've seen this shot, and now I look at it, I go, this ain't really too bad. This was actually a pretty nice portrait session, and just her expression. I think 2 things I could have done to make it a little bit better, and I think the 2 things that are always my downfalls when I'm shooting is I always forget to bend everything. Try to get everything at angles. So like her eyes here, they're straight across. They're just slightly lower than the top third of the page too. I mean, maybe just move her up just maybe ever so slightly, just to bring her closer to that third. The nice thing about her face, the way she was posed, her lips kind of give you a little bit of an angle. Her teeth give you a little bit more of an angle. Her chin is slightly bent. Her neck is definitely looking at me. But the shoulders give us a sense of the angle as well. I did do a vignette, so a little dark area around the entire photo just to really kind of focus in on the face, because that's really what it was a head and shoulder shot. What else could I have done better? I really think maybe in Photoshop cleaning up the stray hairs, this is kind of a little messy. These little stray hairs kind of across the top, but I really think I wanted to just more capture the kids. They were practicing, and that's when I did the photo session. So they were practicing. We didn't really have time to prepare hair and makeup and all that good stuff. So, but it just kind of captured them, them as natural as possible. And I really like the shot. Now that I look at it, now this is one I would probably hang up on my wall. And I think I'm going to go buy a print and hang that one up on my wall. Let's see here. Miss Paula. This is a picture from Miss Paula. I really like this shot. It's very beauty dish kind of esque. If you look at the lighting, okay, so let's get the hand back up here. You look at the lighting, notice there's this harsh shadow just right around the whole outside of her body here, and you can almost see it on the other side. Not too much. This is very, I don't want to say flat lighting, because it's really, it's kind of a beauty dish lighting. So the light's very high. It's a fairly big light, because you can see that under the chin is soft. So right here is nice and soft, going all the way across. It lights all underneath her neck here, down all the way to the top part of her blouse or shirt that she's wearing. The necklace is lit very nicely. So it really does have an effect like a beauty dish. And what a beauty dish is a nice big reflector that when you fire the flash through, it hits something, bounces back into a dish or a reflector, a round parabolic reflector. So it's kind of like your radar dish. I'll get a picture for another time so I can explain that one, but I really like it because the beauty dish thought process really highlights eyes very well. It lights eyes like you wouldn't believe. So right here, you can just see the ice blue eyes. I mean, they just peering into you. I mean, I feel they're peering into me. Two things about this shot that I don't necessarily like. I don't like whatever the background is. I think it looks harsh for some reason. Maybe just cutting her out and giving her a different background might be something simple to do. I'm just not exactly a fan of the whole concrete stucco thing, and she looks like she's right up against it. That's why there's that harsh shadow right here. Maybe doing something a little different. Maybe doing it on a white cloth. Maybe that is a white cloth and it wasn't ironed or it wasn't cleaned up very good. But all in all, I love the shot. I love the pose. I love the expression. This is not how I know Paula. Paula's usually got a smile and a pool stick and she's whipping my butt at pool. But, 8 ball or 9 ball or whatever we end up playing. So this is definitely nice. I mean, she looks great. One other thing I think I would probably change is the style of the hair. Very straightened hair. I think it's separated just enough where light shined through into a dark void and never came back. So it gives it this harsh line effect to it. I'm not too big of a fan of that. I don't know why. It almost looks like it's over moosed or over styled. But it works for her. This is kind of a serious pose, a very harsh pose. But again, I love the pose because everything's got angles. Even though she's not at too much of an angle, you can see that she's kind of squared up. But where the photographer shot from, which is a little above her, and we'll see, I can't point my finger the right way. So a little above her and then down at her, making it so that her head tilt, and in the photo, she's got a lot of angles. So like there's angles in her eyes and her nose and her mouth and the chin angle goes down this way. You got angles, basically, not straight angles with the jewelry here and the blouse. Her shoulder starts here, ends up here. So there's lots of leading lines, lots of good compositional things to this photo. I really like the crop too. I don't feel like her arms are chopped off. I really think this is kind of like a head and shoulder shot, maybe a half size portrait shot almost. It really does portray her with this kind of seriousness and sharpness. And like I said, I mean, it's my opinion. I just don't like the hair. I think I would rather see a little bit of a different hairstyle. The makeup's fine. I think the makeup's beautiful. It's soft. It's nice. And the background. I think those are the only two things with this photo that I might change. I change the background and maybe change the hairstyle just ever so slightly. I almost want to say it's already Photoshopped, but I can't tell without zooming in on it. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. No, I can't. Well, we're going to work on that one, I think, a little bit later, if we have time. What else we got? Oh, that's it. That's it. That's all of them. So, reviewing all those photos, going through all that, that's all I do here. It's just simple things. I like a lot of the shots. I mean, I'm not going to be overly judgmental. I want to encourage you to take more shots and better shots and so on. So you get better, but I'm not here to criticize you in a sense that it's negative. I think all the shots were good. I think they just have some minor tweaks. And like I said, one of my shots, I mean, I even think that my shots are not that great. I really would like to see them better in one way or the other. And it's just to try to be helpful, constructive criticism, get people to go from point A to point B. That's really what I like to do. I like to lift people up and have fun with it and get them to go do something else and go do more. So thank you, Scott. Thank you, Paula, for sending in those photos. Thank you, Frank, for sending in the questions. So if you have questions or if you want something to be reviewed, if you want me to do something specific on a show, please give me an email at thedigitalbabble@gmail.com. You can also go check out our website at tdbny.com, and I'll be more than happy to go answer any of your questions on email or do a show on it. I think I covered everything, so why don't we go take a look and see what we got on deck here. So here's that shot of Paula. Yeah, I thought I put it in here. Okay, so here's that shot of Paula. like I said, I really love this shot because I'm going to draw on the whiteboard here. You got angle, 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 and the shoulder angle. There's a lot of leading lines, and she's really not tilted or moved in position as much. Really, the photographer moved rather than her moving. And just by moving, gives all these angles and makes it look like everything on her is tilted in some way, shape, or form. I love her eyes. I love the way I want to say it's a beauty dish. I really do. I love the way her eyes are just ice blue, bright. The one thing I'm a little disappointed in, and I think it spooks me a little bit, and I'm not sure if it's on screen or not, or if you can see it. It almost looks like she's just slightly missing a catch light, which seems odd. There should be a catch light right here in this eye, but that's me. You know, overly looking at this going, what's going on with this? The background, I still think, looking at this photo in full here, I still think somebody tried to Photoshop this and put her on a different background, which is a pretty good attempt if that's really what happened. But I can't tell you because I'm just trying to review it as me and saying what I think it is. Again, I don't care for the background so much. It looks almost looks out of place. It looks like a big shot of brick that they put for texture, or it was maybe a big sheet that wasn't ironed very well. You know, I'm really trying to zoom in here and I'm just not seeing it. So why don't we pop over into Photoshop, we'll take a look and see what we got here and just maybe play a little bit. Because there's not too much I really want to do other than the background. I really think that we could probably just cut her out real quick and then give her any background that we want, which I don't have a background prepared, but we could do a couple of different things. We could clean up a couple of these stray hairs here too as well. I really do love, you know, I think the lipstick would be nice to exaggerate as well. I just don't feel like I want to really touch this so much, but I just want to figure out how to do something with a background. So why don't we I'm going to make a copy of this, and I'm going to just totally blur this. So I'm going to take the original shot and I'm going to Gaussian blur this, and I'm going to use the filter Gaussian blur. Brings up this little pop-up, and I am going to blur the crud out of this. I mean, to the point that it's so unrecognizable, it's just paints of color. Like so. Alright. So I'm going to get rid of it for right now, and I'm going to see if I can maybe use a maybe magic wand or quick select. Probably quick select will do it. So let's try quick select. And we're just going to kind of come in here, go across there, hold shift so I can get the next area. I want all this area, very good. And I'm going to shrink the brush ever so slightly. I want this area. And I got to get this little tiny area over here because it won't look right if I grab the other stuff and not that. And maybe just touch more. Come on, get in there. Yeah, that'll have to do. I'm just going to do this quick. So now that we got our selection, I'm going to bring back the blurred area, and I'm going to make a mask out of the selection. So just by clicking add a mask button down here, the little circle in a rectangle, after you make your selection, you get kind of that whole thing. Okay, so yeah, this could be fun. This could be interesting. I might even change a little bit more. Now the big problem here is the mask is so harsh. You can see how she looks like she's totally not supposed to be there. So what we could do is we can then use on the mask, you know, some different techniques. We could take the mask and do a slight blur to it. So we'll grab a Gaussian blur on the mask layer, and we'll shrink it down here to like 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. I don't want to get too far. I'll let go of it, Phil. There's 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's going to start giving her a halo. I don't want to do a halo, but nice soft. Let's try that. So now we softened the line ever so slightly, so it's not so harsh. Now we got to figure out how to get a few pieces here in and out, like here. So basically just being on the mask, and that's the beautiful thing about masks. You can work with the mask and actually kind of take things in and out. So I'm going to take and just shrink my brush here ever so slightly, zoom in on this hair here, and I'm just going to paint that out because I don't like it. I don't like it there. I don't like this harsh shadow, so I'm going to do some painting just to lighten things up just ever so slightly. I just do not like that dark piece there. It almost seems weird. And of course, I'm doing such a fast job, I'm not going to do a good job, but you can get the idea of what I'm trying to do. Alright, that works. Soften this over here. Yeah, take that little strand of hair out there. I don't really need that. That doesn't do anything for the photo for me. Let's go over here, and yeah, this does look either photoshopped or the light went and hit the background and shined through her hair here. And I might just say, let's just, I don't know what I want to do with this, whether we cut it out. Let's try cutting it out. So we'll kind of come in and just kind of, and then try to shape it so it looks like it belonged there. And then her shoulder comes in here. Very nice. Switch it to white again. Bring it back just so it looks like there. Yeah, so that's going to look a little weird. So we'd have to blend that piece. So we'd have to take a little bit of, let's see, we'll do a little clone stamp here. And go back on the original layer, make a duplicate because I want to work on that just by that. And we take the clone stamp and we go directly to the right and then bigger, bigger, bigger. And just kind of do a little bit of painting. So we just delete a little bit of this hair here and shape it up so it looks like it belongs where it's supposed to belong. Alright, so that looks a little better. And again, we could change the color tone of this. We could go back on the top layer, the blur layer, which is our blurred background. Maybe take and, I don't know, let's try to stylize this in some way. I don't know, let's try to... Oh, I don't know. Let's try sketching, maybe. Let's try chrome. Probably ain't gonna do much. Yeah, it's gonna make it black and white. Not what I wanted. But you could use all sorts of filters. You could shift the color. You could even, you know, what would be even neat would be taking and unlinking. Now, here's a really neat feature. I should explain this really good. This little chain link fence in between the layer and the mask indicates the layer mask is linked to the layer. What you can do is once you get your initial mask done, you can unlink it. Now you can go back to the original layer by clicking on the preview here instead of on the mask. Now we should be able, and I'm going to say should because I always like to be cautious. We should be able to take the image, the blurred one, and flip it horizontally. Oh, it's going to do the whole thing. Edit, undo. Undo. We should be able to, I don't want to do image. I want to do edit, transform, flip horizontally. And you can see how you can kind of get this kind of neat reverse effect to it, you know? And now you could take and you could even do like an adjustment. You could do like maybe a little bit of, I don't know, we could do black and white, you know, make it black and white and then adjust the tones accordingly. So red and yellow are going to get a little saturated, unsaturated. Maybe the purples, if there's any purples in there, there is purples in there. Now the other thing, now that we unlinked the mask, notice the mask is still the same. The mask is around Paula, the original subject, and it has that soft feel to it. But the actual layer content I can now manipulate. So I can go Control T or go to Edit, Free Transform, and I can build this up big or small. You know, we can just make, maybe we just want that kind of nice gray area there. We could also take and filter it, and we could do like a texture thing. So we could texture, I don't know, let's try stained glass. See what we get. That's kind of interesting. Let's try border thickness. Let's make it bigger. Light intensity is darker. Cell size is bigger because I want big pieces. Now we got this piece. Now we could take and blur the background yet again, but less blur. So Gaussian blur. I just want to soften those lines up in the background so it gives it texture, but not predominant texture. So something like that. So it's part of the picture, but not so much a distraction per se. So let's take this and go File, Save As, and we go to a JPEG, and we're going to overwrite the new one. Yes, okay. Now we're going to go back to the original. Here's the original. Again, I don't like the background. I don't know why I don't like that background, but I don't like that background. A few pieces of hair here. There's some dark areas going around her head. This looks photoshopped here by her cheek, her left cheek where the hair was. So let's go to the new image, and this is all I did was I cleaned up a few spots and really just played around with the background. So maybe did something a little more stylized. So before, after. I really think the cleaning up that hair drew some new lines too here on the left side of her face, you know, by cleaning up that bunch of hair there. So here's the original. Right there's that bunch of hair that looks kind of odd gray. Here's the new. Kind of cleaned it up, made it kind of like a little bit sharper. And I think that's one of the big things about photo editing and body manipulation and people manipulation is cleaning up things that might be distracting, like stray hairs. I think that was distracting myself personally. I still love her eyes. They just piercing. It's just amazing. Let's see what we got up for image 2. If we got something. Oh, the cat. Let's play with the cat real quick. Let's pop over into Photoshop here and back in Photoshop. Remember how I was talking I didn't care for a few things? Well, let's fix those things. Okay, I'm just going to do a simple levels adjustment. I'm going to bring my whites in so that the fur looks a little more white. I wouldn't go too much past 230. So if you go into levels, this is what you get. You have a highlight, which is the white triangle in the histogram here. You got the gray triangle, which tells you what the midtone brightness is, so what's midtone. And then the dark or the shadow side, so you can make this very dark or less dark. I really want to bring, like I said, I wanted to bring the highlights in so the whites look white again. I might brighten the whole picture up, and I'm not sure where I want to put it. Maybe that's a little touch too much. There. I think I like that. All right. Okay, so we did that. Now I want to play around with the hue saturation. So I really like the idea of, you know, those eyes are just, you know, really interesting to play with. And I'm trying to find what I want for eyes. Demon Kitty. Maybe more greenish. Sounds good. Very saturated green. Let's play with that. Yeah, let's play with that, Philly. All right, so let's play with that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask everything out. So Control-I. Click on the mask, hit Control-I, it masks everything out. And then what I want to do is I want to take a brush and paint with white, because we're already black there. So on the mask, and I'm just going to bring back just the green in the eye here. And then I'm going to show you one other thing you should do if you're doing animal eyes. You'll notice that if you do the animal eyes, you can bring some really neat color back into it. But typically animal eyes are fairly wide pupils. So you'll get a little bit of a color cast in there. You'll see there's some blue in there and some other stuff. What you want to do is take and repaint with black with a smaller brush right in the black area so it's the original color. And it'll give the illusion that the cat's eyes were the original color to begin with. It's not much of a color shift, but I think if you've been playing with it for a while, you know, playing with this photo for a while, it really does give a sense of weirdness. Again, I think the crop needs to be fixed, so let's do the cropping real quick. So I'm going to grab my crop tool. I'm going to pick a size that I'm happy with, so I'm going to try an 8x10 crop. Not 3. Okay, so 8 wide by 10 tall. I'm going to do it somewhere in here, I think. I gotta find where I'm really happy with it. I like that there to there. Yeah, right about there. Really tight crop. I think I cropped it too much. I did undo. Again, it's one of those things where you got to play with it until you get, you know, play with the composition until you get it right about where you want. I really like that the nose and the whiskers kind of come in here, but I don't want to catch that that thing down in the lower left-hand corner. I want a little bit of the background all the way around. I want that eye as close as I can to being in third. I think that's good. There you go. You're missing the entire ear, so it doesn't look like that other ear is weirdly chopped. I mean, it looks like it was intentionally taken like this. Another thing we could do just for giggles is we could take and we could sharpen this. So I'm going to go Control-Shift-Alt-E. That'll give me a clone stamp layer here in my layers bucket. I'm going to do a filter unsharpen mask. And I'm just going to play around with what I got here. I don't know what I want to do exactly since it's such a small photo. So let's undo the preview, do the preview. Let's go about 1.5, and I'm going to do about 85%. Hit OK. So what that's going to do is it's going to sharpen each individual hair, so it really gives it a furry look to it. If you go to 100% or 10%, you know, a little bit bigger, you can see it. And this is a high resolution photo, so I mean, I'm only at 200% here. Here's 700%. Now I'm almost to the pixels. Well, I am to the pixels. You can see the pixels, but you can tell that you got a high resolution photo here, and it's something you can really play with in a sense. All right, so let's save this and then end the show for this week. Save as JPEG. Save. Okay. All right, so let's go back into the video feed. Here's the original. Here's the edited. Again, I think the original, it was too dark, and this ear up here just feels like it's chopped in a weird way, and I'm probably even chopping it in a weird way. I probably would have said this would have been a better picture if you would have backed it off just ever so slightly. But, you know, cropping the ear completely off now and then making those eyes greener than green. I like it. I think it works, even though the eyes are kind of orangish. But there you go. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Maybe you like what I did, maybe you don't. That's okay, because it's all subjective. And that's what this whole show is about being subjective to things and see what you come out with. So that's this week's Digital Babble. Thank you for tuning in. If you first time tuning in, this is a show about photography and Photoshop. I hope you tune in every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. to catch me, Flipper, here on the Digital Babble, talking and babbling and just going on about photography. And if you want to go check us out and go check out previous shows, you can go check out recorded shows. It's the TDBNY, the Digital Babble NY. So TDBNY, it's all the initials.com. You can go check us out on fingerlakes1.com. You can go check us out on fingerlakes1.tv. Again, we're on every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Send me an email if you want to send me some photos to review, or if you want me to do something specific on a show. Please give me an email, thedigitalbabble@gmail.com. And as always, I wish everybody peace, happiness, love, all that good stuff. And I will catch you on the flip side.
A Flipside Studio production. It's the Digital Babble. Tune in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. on fingerlakes1.com. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter.